and welcome to another review from Colour with Claire. So today I've got Katerina Bobarykina's brand new book, Spirit of the Past, to show you. Now you may recognise this kind of style of book because her first one, Ethno Spirit, this one here, I reviewed last year, and this one is the brand new one, it's the sequel. So this was her debut book, absolutely gorgeous portraits of all different females from different cultures around the world. And as you can see, this one looks pretty much exactly the same in terms of size and shape and format, but obviously it's different. Now you can see a big stripe across here because that's my overhead light, so let me just tilt it out the way and you can see the cover properly. It is a super high gloss laminate on this cover, that's why it's so sort of shiny. It feels really well made and sturdy. On the back you've just got a thick piece of board, so easy for you to lean on if you colour on your settee like me. It is spiral bound down the left, as you can see, and when you open it up there's no extraneous pages, there's no blurb or copyright or introduction, you just go straight into all of the illustrations, and that is how it is all the way through the book. So Spirits of the Past, I think what we're doing here is we're looking back at females from different ages. So, you know, you're going to see a lot of different clothing styles in here, Victorian, Edwardian. This one kind of almost looks steampunkish with the hat, but yeah, that's what you're going to see throughout the whole thing. So loads and loads of different costume, some beautiful ladies here. The illustrations are very simple looking. They don't have an awful lot of detail, particularly on the faces, but I think that leaves it to you to sort of put in where you want your features to be, if that makes sense. So for example, where you want your cheekbones to sit, for you know, stuff like that, which sometimes I think it's better this way, because oftentimes you'll find an illustrator does put in way too much sort of shading and shape on a face, and sometimes you don't like the look of where they've put the shadow of the nose or whatever. It doesn't look quite right. So I do appreciate the faces being left sort of to leave you to your own devices. But as for the clothing and the other pieces in the background, there's a lot of detail to go with. It is a large book. I'm not entirely sure how large. Let's give it a quick measure. So the actual illustration starts about here. So just, you know, really quickly, we're looking at just shy, so 28 centimetres. And then from top to bottom, about 28 by 26, something like that in centimetres. So it is quite a large book, as you can see with both my hands on here. And it doesn't have that much intricacy that you would, you know, struggle and you'd have to use a lot of fine liners and things. So it's a large scale format book. And if you're somebody who maybe struggles with your eyesight or with your fine motor control, things like that, and you just want something a bit bigger, then this is a fantastic book for you. So yeah, as I say, we're sort of delving into the past. There's a lot of period costume. Oh, and here's the one that I've done. Now, what did I colour this with? I coloured this with Artesa's and Prismacolors, I think. And yeah, I had a really good time doing this. I don't know if you follow me on social media. If you do, you will have seen this already. But I coloured the whole entirety of the centre, and then I couldn't be bothered to colour the frame. I think it's because I'd done this whole thing in one sitting, and I'd just been looking at the page for too long, and I couldn't be bothered to fill in all of that filigree. So I came back to it another day because all of you very rightly told me that it did need doing. It looked unfinished, and I just put a little bit of grey in there just to give it a silvery look. Didn't take me long at all, but it did finish off the page. So yeah, really pleased with how that one's turned out. I've got a really funny tip actually that I might do in a video, even though it's just super simple. I don't know whether it requires a video, but I coloured the water in exactly the same colours as I'd used for the sky and the trees, so that you can see we have a reflection going on. But it just looked too bright and too vivid. It just looked exactly like the sky. And I think I wanted to sort of make it look a little bit more watery and a little bit more faded and pale. So what I did was I got a Derwent paint pen. You could use a Posca pen or a gel pen or some white acrylic paint. And I put it all over my finger and just spread it over the top with my finger. over the top of the colours on the sea, and it just dulled it down a little bit. Now, I very often do kind of acrylic washes and things like that. That's where I water down acrylic paint so it's very, very thin, and then paint it over water so it does have that look. But if you just want a quick solution, put some Posca pen on your finger and go over it. Add a few little gel pen lines over there, and it just dulls it down enough that it kind of looks like water. But yeah, I'll do a video if you want me to. I always worry about doing videos for something that's so ridiculously simple that people will just be like, well, that wasn't worth it. So we've got a lot of beautifully decorated panels here. It looks like metalwork. We've got a couple of animals in this one. I think I saw a ferret earlier on. This looks like a cat. So we've got a little, you know, a few different bits for you to practice fur. This was actually one that I was going to colour instead of the other one. And I really liked it because of all the different elements on the page, just in a sort of contained area, if that makes sense. So I would have had a really good time doing the brickwork and making that look quite realistic. I've got a brick tutorial. Look through the playlist if you want to find it. And then obviously the water sort of falling down here, that would have been good to do with some white gel pen showing the kind of movement, and then the nice restful pond with the koi carp in there. I think I'll definitely be doing that one next when I come back to this book. Yeah, but as you can see, just gorgeous portraits. As I've explained, quite large and, you know, big spaces, so you don't have to worry about intricate details, but there is enough detail on the pages that it's, you know, it's worth doing, and it's not going to take too much time. I think it's just right. Got a lovely little dog on this one, and then I think there's a bird perched in her hat there. I don't know whether it's a living bird or whether it's a stuffed one. You never know with these Victorian ladies. Yeah, so just stunning. I think the costume really is what kind of brings this book forward. It's not so much the girls and the faces, but it's the costume and the hairstyles as well. I mean, look at that. This one's a good one for your Christmas. We've got the red cardinal, and again, just that gorgeous, gorgeous costume going on. This is a really nice one as well because it's obviously it's just not a portrait that's kind of facing forward straight on. She's lying on the grass. It just, I don't know, she's got a wistful look in her eye. It gives you a different perspective, I think. This would be a great one to practice light sources, so you could have sort of a big glow around this candle, and then kind of this half of her face yellow or yellowish, and then this half darker. And that's it. So as you can see, there's no extra pages or anything like that. It is totally and entirely colouring pages, and it feels really nice to hold. It's quite big and sturdy. And yeah, I really, really like it. Just like her first book, Ethno Spirit, I think it's a great addition to the series. Can't wait to see what other books she's going to bring out in the future. Hopefully they'll follow this same format. And let me just check. They're not perforated, are they? I mentioned that. No, they're not perforated, but obviously with it being spiral bind, they're easy to remove. So as always, links to buy this new book will be in the description below, as will be my review of the first book, so you can see what it looks like. And as always, I love to hear from you, so please do comment. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.